It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's a good feedback. Yeah, it's good to know that it's working.
Yeah, it's the little things when you have to deal with editing audio so much is like you can just like tell like that's a clap. I see it because it's just like a straight line.
Right. Dude, that's actually my favorite thing is like kind of being able to look at audio files like, okay, that's a laugh, that's a clap. Like I don't know. That's always fun.
I know what Oktar's laugh looks like because I've had to edit so much audio and I can see it in the WAV file like that's his laugh.
I gotta study Oktar's famous, like, when you get him really good in the belly, like, it's like his big, like, his little cackle that he throws onto it. Yeah, you know it's deep from the gut, too. It's like his pure happiness. I love that laugh. It is my favorite laugh.
It's a beautiful thing.
Sonic 06 is filled with that annoying sound of mine.
It's so
great.
Good. I'm fucking annoyed. By the way, I just gotta say, the clip, I think it's from the second episode or whatever, where you zoom in on like Tails being like stuck behind that wall. That clip actually got a good amount of feedback on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw, but it got a lot more like likes and retweets than we usually get. Not like a ton, but like definitely more than usual. But I love that clip so much because just ending on Octar is like, Tails! Like just fucking losing it as it zooms in on Tails. It's the funniest thing.
I'll tell you, Octar, you're doing good work. I like it. I like with these videos. I like it.
It was great.
Appreciate it.
And like
you guys.
No, I had to sing your praises because you made the right choice. Because originally, like when I said like, oh, you should zoom in on Tails, I thought you were just gonna like cut to it, but like the slow zoom on Tails as the camera turns, him just stuck behind.
I just imagined like we're just talking about it, and then the camera guy like kind of just like, wait a second,
because you just hear stupid Tails like like a helicopter fucking propeller.
Oh yeah. Dude, you guys are in for a treat for... Oh, you'll see. Mikey, you know what that last episode that we did together encompassed.
Yeah.
You guys are in for a fun treat for that one. I got something special cooked up.
It's never a dull moment with that game. It
No.
gives you so much material to work off of.
Well, speaking of material, I'm a material girl. Bad way to segue into this. Hey, everybody, the bar is open. How y'all doing? I'm your bartender, Brian. And hey, if you're listening at home on like Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, I don't know if I said you, but hey, thanks for supporting. We really appreciate it. We like doing this. But yeah, it's the Bob Boys. Bob Boys are here tonight. How you boys doing?
Good. Hello, it's me, special guest Tom Selleck, here on the Mop Bar. Yeah, no, it's Mike. I have a mustache for the audio listeners. Well, I've had the mustache, but I no longer have the beard, so it's just the mustache now. So now I can drink my beer and get like the beer suds all on my mustache, just like
I
suck
hate
on
that.
it the whole time.
Oh God! And like the hairs are kind of like in your lip a little bit, and just
Dude,
That's great.
That's what I like. That's what I miss about having like a beard, like a full-fledged beard with like the mustache, because like after you're done eating, you know, and like a couple of days go by, and like sometimes you'll find, you know, a little treat when you're hungry, and you can
It's just like,
take it out the
ooh,
beard
what's
and eat
this?
it. Oh, a Cheeto from like last week. Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like movie theater popcorn. It's like I haven't seen a movie in like 3 months.
Oh, I'm Oktar. I brought a drink this time.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, a thermos of coffee.
Nice.
I just like the quick wave. There it goes.
I just love how you guys only see the word Bubba. And that's
Yeah.
it.
See, well, you are at least you have like logo out, like you know how it works.
Yeah, represent.
I'm just here enjoying a delicious Shark Top beer, Belgian white.
I'm just fucking with a Coke. Like, that's all I got going on over here. Coke, sponsor me. I'll put it more in the screen if you like that. Is this doing anything for you, Coke? You like that? Yeah.
No, there you go. I don't think they care much.
I tried.
Someday. We got to start small.
But,
I don't think Coca-Cola is going to sponsor us right away. We need let's start with RC Cola. I think that's reasonable.
Okay.
We could get RC,
Okay,
right?
And just slowly move up through all the sodas.
Too good for us.
Is that still? Well, maybe there's got to be some back ass generic brand it's just called cola or something.
Cola.
What about Walmart? Can we get with Walmart?
Fizzy
What's
brown
Walmart's
drink
brand?
or something? We can get that.
Brown drink.
Sponsored by Fizzy Brown Drink. It's fizzy and it's brown. You can drink
So
it.
let me ask you guys something about the flavor of Coca-Cola. Do you guys think it's like there's something chocolatey about it, right? Or am I crazy?
Well, it's very sweet, and it's kind of syrupy.
Yeah.
So, I get what you're saying. I don't know if I'd call it chocolatey. I would.
Maple syrup?
I kind of know what.
It's really sweet. I don't know.
But it's the color of chocolate and maple syrup.
Sure.
And it's super sweet like chocolate and maple syrup.
Brian, what are you doing? Why are you pouring it on your hand?
I'm doing analysis. I'm analyzing.
By pouring it into your cupped hand? What the fuck are you doing? You're like science. If you're in a lab and you just had a beaker of hydrofluoric acid, and you're just let me just pour a little on my bare hand. Yeah, it burns.
Bro,
now I know.
This fucking guy.
Well,
I'm looking.
I had a very similar moment earlier today. I was getting angry because of an email chain that I was having with some individuals, and they were just not being straightforward about what they wanted from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting there reading these broad stroke emails, and I'm like, I don't know how hard they want me to read into this stuff, but I'm not a philosophist. And then I just sat there for I was like, I just said I got so angry I said philosophist.
The fuck this means?
Brian, I'm sorry, but you told me that you watched Annihilation, and I just real quick, I want to know your opinions about it. Octor, have you seen Annihilation? With Natalie
Resident
Portman?
Evil Annihilation?
No.
Oh,
no. No, it's Natalie Portman.
Portman?
Portman.
These Natalie Portmans are delicious and refreshing.
I can't remember the kind of the more shy, smart girl. I've always seen her in things. I just can't think of her name. I've seen her in things before.
Yeah, I don't know. But Oscar Isaac is also in it.
Yes. Yeah. It was. Does anyone care for spoilers? I mean, hey, if you don't want to hear spoilers about Annihilation, haven't seen it, mute us.
I'd say be vague. I mean, I don't know. I would like Octar to watch it, so I don't want you to spoil it for him.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, I mean,
how new is the movie?
I think it came out 2018.
2018,
something like that. I don't know. A few years old.
Wow, I'd never even heard of the movie.
It's actually pretty. I don't know. I liked its take on what it was doing. It was interesting and I don't know. Every single. I won't lie. Every moment just kind of kept pulling me in and reeling me in more. I'm just I need to know more. I don't have enough. Give me more information, please. I don't know.
It's based off a book. So I think. I mean, people. The movie's really well received. I don't know how different the movie is from the book, but it's. A loose premise, I'd say, is it's sort of about an alien invasion, but it's a very, very different take on it, and it's really, really cool and interesting.
Yeah, it's really. I'm really into it.
2018.
Was that the right year? I just guessed. I don't know.
Well, no, I'm just trying to see why I didn't, hear about it,
Well, remember, there was a stretch of time where you died, and we had to preserve your body in a freezer for, I want to say, 14 to 16 months, and then we thawed you out when we cured your death disease. But
I was just thinking, I was like,
close attention to the penis.
I was just thinking, when did TLJ come out? Was that why I didn't hear about Annihilation?
Oh, what, did you watch The Last Jedi, and you're like, I'm done with movies forever?
Oh.
Because TLJ released in 2017, so there was definitely a lot of emotional scarring that happened in 2017 where I'm like, movies, so right now, not for me.
Well, yeah, I never saw Annihilation in theaters. I only saw it because Captain, who is usually in our chat, me and him watch it together, and because he really liked that movie, and I was like, oh shit, this is rad.
Yeah,
it's a good
really
watch.
cool.
I recommend it. It's
Right.
It's
again,
I think just
I won't say more than this, but like there's a scene with a bear. It's got it's fun, and it's good.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah, that yeah. Oh fuck! Okay, actually, you have to see it because now we're gonna do a little podcast about it. Now I want to talk about it because it's actually pretty good. What,
Brian? I think you're thinking of Revenant, Brian, with the bear scene.
No, what the fuck? No.
Oh, okay.
I saw them. I literally texted Mike and said, "Hey, like literally," because I told him like, "Hey, I'm gonna watch it," because I wanted to watch a movie that night, and I thought I'm like, "Oh shit!" I think I put that on my like list on HBO. So I go to HBO and I'm like, "Oh fuck, it's empty, man." I'm like, "Fuck, bro. Actually, I don't think I'm able to watch Annihilation because I wanted to talk to him about it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Fuck, it was actually Empty Man that was on my list, not Annihilation." But he found it.
Paramount Plus finally came in handy. Who would have thought?
Yeah. I didn't even know I was still paying for it. That just shows you.
Well, no, you know.
Wow. But no, Brian. The Revenant is the one with the bear.
Yeah, with
that's the only movie with the bear. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That's the only movie.
Only movie with the bear.
I do. Now that you've mentioned Bear, Mikey, I do have to now watch it because I like bears.
Bears are pretty good.
Bears are cool.
Well, again, bro, like. Use and abuse me. You ever want to watch a movie or a show, just call my dumb ass up. You can come here, I'll go there. I don't care. I just want to watch things with my friends again because it's the only thing that brings me light in this dark, dark world. So
I love you, man. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry, man. You need a hug?
I need more than a hug, Brian. I need therapy.
Don't we all?
Therapy, you know what I'm saying? That's a joke.
It was good. I liked it.
Thanks.
Bro, I keep seeing dad jokes everywhere now, and I cannot help but to think of you. Like, there was this one that really tickled my belly. It was, whatchamacallit? I bought online, I bought a book called How to Scam People Online, but I still never got my order sent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I don't know. It was like a dad joke area, and I was just in like, I can see Mike saying this, but better than I delivered it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's a good joke. I get it.
The point is, my social media now is just flooded with dad jokes now, and now when I read them, I hear it in your voice. I don't know. It's a weird algorithm that it does.
Well, clearly you're interacting with these dad jokes. The algorithm's like, more dad jokes. Come on, keep them coming.
I like a good one. I like one if it's real good. I'm like, all right, that one kind of gets a like. That one made me,
I've ruined all my social media stuff. Like it's always just this spiral of just like, oh, that's a pretty cosplayer, or that's a good artist, and then like now all my social media feeds are just like naked girls or drawings of naked girls, and it's like Now I'm not complaining, but I promise this wasn't the intention from the get-go. It's just like this is just what the algorithm gives me now. It's like, and it's great, but it's hard. Like now I can't look at any like social media when I'm in public now because there will be tits immediately as like the first thing that loads up.
Well, that was what happened with me. I was like, oh man, music festivals and like video games, freaking that's awesome. And then it's just now freaking girls at music festivals literally just wearing 2 pieces of clothing and also super crazy like video game streamer girls, and I'm like, why? How did it get to this?
How did this happen again?
Like,
well, then you move to a new social media and you're like, this time I'm going to be a good Christian boy on the social media. Then you see like one really pretty girl, like, okay, I like that. Next time you open it up, just nothing.
Just flooded.
Most beautiful women on the planet. And you're just in there like, well, here we go again. What are you gonna do?
I guess I'm social media wrong because mine is just like cooking recipes and Legos.
No,
like,
you're doing it right. It's just like,
am I?
Me and Akhtar are, as the kids say, down bad. So it just keeps happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got some good recipes for you guys' tummies.
Great.
Mm.
I'm gonna feed you, boys. Anyways, hey. So for people who don't know, you'll probably notice because this is kind of the main topic. You could see it in our Twitch and probably YouTube. But hey, we got a little kind of debate. I do things with my hands.
I saw you do that, and I'm like, what is this?
I don't know. I gotta do something with my hands.
Hey.
They're just there. But anyways, yeah. So we're doing a little, what is the official BOP? The BOP Hill King.
All right. I'm gonna take over. I'm just gonna take over because clearly you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. So
No, I got it.
guys.
I was
Elden
talking it up.
Elden Ring is coming out this week. If y'all didn't know, everybody knows. It's kind of a big deal. So I thought it'd be fun if we look back at the Soulsborne games that FromSoft has put out in the past and try to rank them from worst to best and have an official BOP list of these ranked games, because obviously we all have our own feelings on it, and that's fine, but I want to see if we can come to some kind of consensus, and I'm hoping there's going to be debate. I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of passion behind our words. And again, I know we all, all the games we're going to talk about, I've played them all. I have not beaten them all. I'm sure there's some games on this list that at least a few of you probably haven't even played. So, that's going to come into the conversation. There might be a game we talk about that maybe the general consensus is it's a great game, but if none of us have played it or haven't played much of it, it's probably not going to be pretty high up on the list, right? So, it's I must state that, of course, this is a subjective ranking. These are our thoughts and opinions. I don't even know how you could rank these objectively, but we're not doing that anyway. This is our subjective thoughts and opinions, and I think it'd be fun. And again, we're doing the FromSoft Souls, Bloodborne games. We're not gonna put in fucking Kingsfield or Armored Core or anything like that. It's just gonna be Demon Souls up through Sekiro.
I just wanted to say though, there are, I guess, certain parts. You do have a good point in saying subjective opinions on what we think ranks top, but there are some objective things that we can probably talk, especially with mechanics and maybe story portrayal is a little difficult because they're all the stories are told very similarly.
Right. Well, I think at the end of the day,
even
this is
lore and stuff like that.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is all opinion. Don't get mad. This is just our thoughts.
Yeah.
Right. Basically. Well, and again, you can't sing a game's praises if you haven't played it at all or played much of it. So that stuff has to be put into account, because for me, I've only played maybe a couple hours of Demon Souls, and that's not the remake. Haven't even touched that. Just the original Demon Souls. And what I played, I think is really good. I really liked what I played. But I feel like it's hard for me to, in good conscience, rank it really high personally for me, when it's if I only played an hour and a half of it, stuff like that has to be put into account. But anyway, I just think it'll be fun to discuss it, because I'm curious what you guys have to say about these games. Because I've got a lot to say. It's kind of what I do. I just talk about bullshit all the time. So here we go.
It's I'll say that's the internet.
Yeah.
We're all just talking about bullshit.
Talking about shit on a podcast? Man, who would have thought?
All right. What is our least, I guess, of all that we like?
Well, before we get into that, can we just quickly, just so people know, can we just state I'll list the games, and then we can kind of say what each of our experiences with all these games, which ones we played, which ones we've beaten, stuff like that, just to kind of set a baseline. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I'm down. I like that.
Okay.
Sounds pretty neat. Nice.
So, okay.
Just continue. Ignore me, dude. Brain's being dumb.
I'll just talk over you. Anyway,
it's hard to ignore you when you're in the mic
that we're talking about.
Sorry.
Are as follows: Demons Souls, Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, and Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Now, I know a lot of people don't count Sekiro as a Soulsborne type of game, because it is a little bit different, but I think it's close enough, and it's also the most recent game FromSoft put out besides Elden Ring, so I think it's worth talking about no matter what. For me personally, like I said, I've played a couple hours of Demon Souls. I've seen a lot of the game, but only played a little bit of it. Played and beat Dark Souls numerous times. Played and beat Dark Souls 2 a few times, both the normal and Scholar of the First Sin. Played a fuck ton of Dark Souls 3, beat that numerous times. Played a lot of Bloodborne. Only beat Bloodborne once, but I've had multiple profiles get to different, areas in the game. And then Sekiro, I've only gotten as far as you might have seen me play on stream, where it was after the second Genichiro boss fight, where it kind of splits a bit, and that's where I stopped playing that. So that's my experience with all those games.
Yeah. Go for it. Go. Oh my god. Okay, well, I guess I will.
So I think.
Doctor! Go! I hate you. Why do you do this to me?
No, it's all you. I'm sorry. It's all you.
No, go!
No. This time it's you. This time it's you for real.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess we're starting.
If you really want me to go.
I swear to God.
For the audio listeners, Brian was pantomiming hating himself. Brian, just go. List now. Do it.
I'm trying! Okay, so I guess I would go... For Demon Souls, yeah, I only played a little bit of it. I don't even think I beat the first boss, so I don't have many hours in that. Dark Souls, only beat that once. Demon Souls 2...
Dark Souls 2.
I got... What?
Dark Souls 2.
Fuck, sorry. Yeah, Dark Souls 2. I only got to the red red armor. You're in this kind of cathedral area, or kind of arena. He's the dragon slayer something.
Oh, are you talking about the?
I can't think of, but yeah, you have to fight him kind of in this ring.
In Hyde's Tower of Flame. Is that what you're talking about?
I
boss
think
of that area. Yeah, the dragon knight dude. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I got as far as him. Dark Souls 3. I beat that, I want to say 3 times. Once with you, then once with you and our friend Kenny, and then once with you Mo, I think. So 3 times.
Yeah.
I ran through that. Never beat that on my own, which I want to at some point. I want to beat that on my own. And then Bloodborne, only beat that once. Same with the DLC, which I love that one. That was a good one. Then after that would be Sekiro, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Sekiro.
Yeah, I mean, Bloodborne came out before Dark Souls 3, so Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, and then Sekiro.
Yeah. And then I guess for Sekiro, God, I don't know. Beat the first boss, and I'm like, all right, I'm okay. Yeah. So, not very far.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess for me, okay, so we'll start with Demon Souls. I beat numerous times, time and time again. Yeah, I think I clocked in quite a few hours with Demon Souls. And we'll get into that later as to why. And then after that, Dark Souls, I only beat once all the way through, plus the DLC. So the Artorias DLC. And then what was Dark Souls 2, I played for 20 minutes.
Nice.
And then and then Bloodborne, I shredded into pieces.
You platinumed Bloodborne, right?
I platinumed
Bloodborne.
Damn.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see how I feel about that game.
Yeah, I think you hate it.
And then Dark Souls 3, I beat vanilla, but not the DLC. No, I didn't touch any of the DLC. I just beat vanilla. And then Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. What I played was actually with you, Mikey, and I was absolutely enthralled to the point where I got home and bought it and downloaded it immediately and have not popped it in since. Mainly because at the time, the only thing I wanted to beat...
I'm so sorry. Just the lead up to that, I got to your house, wasn't so in love with it, bought it that night, haven't touched it.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry,
But
that was
because at the time, God damn it, that was because at the time It was because at the time I was playing Neo, which took me about 3 to 4 years to beat. So
not even exaggerating.
Have you beat it yet? All right.
No, I still have like one more DLC left in that one. That game is so fucking long. And anyways, it's not about that. And then what are we missing?
I think you got them all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I should mention too, because just talking about DLC, I've beaten the DLC for all the Dark Souls games, probably a couple times, and I got really far in the DLC for Bloodborne, but I never beat it. I feel like I'm right at the end of it, but it's really good.
Yeah, I think aren't we all kind of close to the end in Bloodborne?
I feel like
DLC?
it.
Yeah.
I feel like we just got one boss to go, but I don't know for sure. But either way, I've gotten a good taste of that DLC and all that stuff. So that at least sets a baseline for where we're at in terms of these games and our experience. That said, I have a suggestion for the bottom of our list, and I know it'll make people mad, but I think Sekiro is my least favorite of all these games. Reason being, so here's the weird thing about Sekiro, is I can identify that it's a very competently made game with a lot of care put into it. I think a lot of the new mechanics are all really cool, like the grapple hook. I love the added verticality in the game because of that. Enemy designs are really cool in that game. There's a lot there to love, but it doesn't have really any kind of freedom in it the way that a lot of other From Software games, like you can't make like a specific build or whatever, right? Because you're playing as this dude who only uses the one sword and all that stuff, and yes, you can get shinobi tools and stuff like that, but outside of that there's not really any kind of like customization or changing of like gameplay style. So it's a matter of like you have to learn to play the game the way they want you to, or you're just gonna have a bad time. Like it's just not gonna work out. And for some people, the way that game plays is a wet dream to them. It's exactly what they want. It's very aggressive. It's a lot of like attack, deflect, stuff like that. But what ultimately ends up happening as you get further into the game is they introduce more and more of what they call like unblockable attacks, and you have to respond to these in kind. Like, okay, if they're going to thrust at me, I got to do a Makiri counter. If they're going to sweep, I got to jump. If they're going to slash down, I got to dodge, So it kind of becomes a rhythm game, and there's not a lot of time. So here's the thing. If you approach Sekiro like a Dark Souls game, it's just not going to work, because in Dark Souls, you kind of take time to like learn an enemy's attack patterns, and you're kind of sitting back, you're figuring stuff out. Whereas like Sekiro, you can do that, but you're gonna get killed real fast because you need to be like attacking. Like the game rewards you for just constantly attacking, constantly deflecting, doing the dodges when need be, and like that's the game. It very much becomes like a rhythm game, and let me tell you, I don't find that very fun, and it's made all the more worse if you try to like, I don't know, stream or record it, or put any of that feed through a capture device that might add even the slightest bit of input delay. Well, now you're fucked, because the timing windows are super, super small in Sekiro. Like, especially for deflections. There's one mini boss right before the Genichiro boss fight where the dude does a quick, like, 1-2! And you have to tap in time with his attacks in order to deflect them. You can't just hold it down and hope for the best. You gotta 1-2, tap it just like that. And if there's any slight delay, you're going to have to find a way to compensate for that, because you're going to get your ass fucking handed to you, and it is very, very frustrating.
Damn.
I also had, and again, this stuff was shown on stream, so if anybody's listening showed up for those streams, they know. But that game also, this is probably just my experience. I haven't heard a lot of other people experience this, at least online. But that, I don't know if it was glitchy for me or what was going on, but things like the grapple hook sometimes just like wouldn't work. Like there was one area where I could like grapple up on top of like this archway, and it would be a matter of like I'm standing here and I've got the green circle saying you can grapple, and then if I just like move slightly to the left, suddenly it's grayed out and you just can't grapple for no reason. There's nothing in my way. And it's not even a distance thing, because like I even like backed up further away and it got green again. So it wasn't like I was too far away from it. Nothing was blocking me. It just sometimes didn't work. And like there were times when like you have to like jump and grapple to get to the next area, or you fall to your death. And there were times where I would just simply fall. Like I thought I grappled, I didn't grapple, I fell, and I was just blaming myself for that. I was like, well, clearly I didn't time it right or whatever. But when shit like that happened, where just like suddenly it's like, no, you can't grapple, then I'm like, maybe it wasn't just me. Maybe this game doesn't work exactly the way they say it should work. Because like I keep running into bullshit like this, and it's very, very frustrating because I don't feel like it's my fault.
Yeah, because I remember, because there was this part where you were on the steps and you were trying to like grapple on top of like the roof, and you were showing me like you would go over a little bit and it was gone, but then you would just move over to the right and then there it was, and you would move back and forward. It was weird. It was like that one part of that step, just you can't do shit on that part. Just this little section of the step. And
that was the best example of it, but I had a lot of weird moments like that where just stuff wouldn't work, and it's like I would die or take hits that I don't feel like I deserved, because that's I feel like a big part of these games is like, because every FromSoft game has some bullshit to it. We'd like to all say it's like, no, it's entirely skill and every death is your fault. That's not always the case. They all have some, even the good ones have some bullshit in them.
Bro, there was some bullshit happened to me a few days ago.
Well, absolutely. Like, I'll fully admit, I love Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1 has a ton of bullshit in it. But I feel like Sekiro really does too. And again, like, my experience isn't even of, like, the whole game. It's just of, like, a small portion of it. So if I had that much frustration and ran into that many problems in just a small chunk of the game, it didn't make me look forward to playing the rest of it. And I don't know, I just, like, I tried so hard, like, multiple times to push through and play this game. And, like, you saw, like, on stream, like, I got stuck on Genichiro, like, my first playthrough. But on stream, I was able to push through and beat him, and that felt good. But then it was, like, right into just more bullshit that I was baiting, like, my head up against this wall. And I don't know, I wasn't having fun. And I think a big part of that was knowing that, like, I couldn't change up my gameplay style. You can't even, and I think this is a cool idea in theory, but like people who don't know much about Sekiro might be like, well, sure, but can't you just grind? And the answer is no, you can't. This doesn't work like Dark Souls does, where you like level up stats and stuff like that. The items you get to like level up your equipment and all that drop from bosses and mini bosses. So you have to get good and kill the boss if you want to get stronger. If you're stuck on a boss, there's no way to just get stronger by killing other enemies. It doesn't work that way. So you can't even grind to get over a hump, which I know some people think is a good thing, and I could see the argument. I just think it unfortunately ends up making things a lot more frustrating. So I don't know. I did not have a good time with Sekiro, and knowing that, neither of you played a whole lot of it either, I can't imagine you have very strong positive feelings about it. So to me, it makes sense to be, if not the lowest on the list, at least pretty low. But let me know what you think. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say for me, like I said, I didn't play much of it. I played maybe the first boss of it. Because for me, during that time period, like Oktar, he was playing another thing. I was playing The Witcher 3. So I was bouncing between The Witcher 3 and then Sekiro. And if you know me, I'm a Witcher boy. Toss a coin. I love The Witcher. And
this is a Dark Souls stream, not a Witcher stream.
But I can show off the bling. It could be there.
This is From Software? Okay.
Well, wolves are in Dark Souls.
Not a cyberpunk one? Okay.
It's right there. Anyways, no. During that time period, the Witcher 1 stole me away. Sorry, but I don't know the bit that I played. I don't know. It was. My problem is when I was going into it, my brain was stuck onto the Dark Souls way, and the game doesn't like that because of how aggressive it is, and so for me that was kind of a hard, like, I guess, weird hill for me to get over. It was kind of like, okay, this is completely something different. Okay, I need to try to learn that. And for me personally, when I felt like I learned it, I felt like I was slowly getting it. But then I kind of, me personally, keep in mind, I haven't played this in a few years. So I just kind of felt like there was a lot of things that was trying to get established, a lot of things that I was trying to do. And I was just sitting there like, what am I doing? There's a lot of story happening. Personally, I don't give a shit. Can I figure out how to play the game? And I don't know. I was having a hard time trying to figure out like the leveling, like, and everything. I'm just like, how does this game function? I feel like I'm not learning properly how the game functions. But,
and
at least,
it is quite different, which again is why a lot of people don't, count it as like a Soulsborne type of game, which, I do see the argument. It's just, I don't know. It's a very specific type of game. And like Bloody says in chat that he thought Sekiro was really fun. And it's like, if that's the kind of like gameplay style you enjoy, then Sekiro's like the perfect game. Like, because it's very much tailored to that specific style. But if that's not how you like to play those types of games, then you're just kind of out of luck. There's no other way to play it,
Yeah. Well, see, and that's the thing, because, like, at some point I would like to actually, like, give it a real try, you know what I mean? Because I only played it for, I don't even fucking know how many hours. 1, 2, 3, I don't fucking know. But, like, I would actually like to try it a little bit more and kind of understand it better, but, at least for me, I don't really have too much of an opinion because of how less I've played, so I guess for me that would kind of be lower, just, not saying in the fact that it's bad, just more in the fact of I don't have...
No, you can say it's bad, Brian. Make your stance. Make your stance. Make your stance.
No, stop it. Don't put words in my mouth.
You can say it's bad. It's fine.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm literally just saying I don't have a good argument. I can't back it up. So for me, it's down there for now.
But genuinely, at least this is my opinion. Genuinely, though, and I think we need to make this clear. I think all these games are very good games in their own right. Yeah. Some obviously better than others, but like I don't think any of these games are like awful or anything like that. So being the lowest on this list is still a good place to be because these are all really good games. So I mean,
they are. Yeah, and like I said, this is all opinion based.
Yeah, exactly. So in your opinion, you can say it's bad because it's your opinion.
I can't say it's bad because I only played a few hours.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say, Mikey? Do you understand what I'm trying to say, Mikey?
I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Right. Thank you. Okay. Now for me, with Sekiro, I'm just saying it's an opinion. You can say it's bad because it's an opinion. It's okay.
I can't.
I thought Sekiro was personally as well. I didn't think it was bad by any means. I do think there are other Soulsborne games that are worse than it.
I can agree.
And from what I had seen you play, Mikey, it reminded me a lot of, and if anyone else is familiar with these types of games, it really reminded me of Tenchu. As far as like being very, stealth is like your best friend in that game.
Yeah.
And then
you
were saying,
it isn't though. The stealth doesn't really work that well in that game. Like it's a very what the stealth amounts to is you can crouch. And if you're lucky enough to be in a tall grass or something but even then sometimes enemies still saw you. So I don't even know how the stealth works in that game. It's terrible. It probably shouldn't be in there because it barely works. That's the one thing about Sekiro I will say is bad. Is like if anyone thinks that stealth system is good, that's a goddamn joke. It's terrible.
What about the verticality though? So if you were above enemies, they would see you, or?
Oh, they totally can, sure. But I mean, like that's not stealth as much as just being out of an enemy's vision cone, which you can do in any Souls game,
I mean, that's stealth. If they haven't seen you and you're sneaking around, what else?
Well, yeah, but okay, well, let me put it this way. Like, there's no way to, like, clear an area stealthily, right? Like, the second you make yourself known or kill an enemy or whatever, like, it's game's up, right? Like, so what the stealth is you just haven't entered combat yet. That's the stealth.
Oh,
you see what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So you played it right when it came out too, right? Like, or just like a little bit after?
Yeah, well, we were hanging out, and I think I told you, like, hey, want to go to GameStop and pick up Sekiro?
Yeah.
Because I think that was, I don't know, maybe a few weeks after it came out.
Yep. Oh, so then there wasn't. If they didn't patch it then, they probably haven't patched it now.
I played it more recently on stream, and as far as I can tell, it's the same fucking game. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's the same game.
In fact, I had more weird issues with it, like talking about the grapple hook stuff.
Yeah.
Than I remember having my first time around. So I don't know what's up with that, but. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's a game on this list that you guys feel like you have more negative feelings about than we can talk about. Then sure, but like for me myself, I can't think of any other FromSoft Soulsborne game that like I think I'd put lower than this. But let me know. Is there? Because Octar, you said you thought there were others that are worse. Like what do you got cooking in your brain?
I had Dark Souls too because it played a lot like Lords of the Fallen. and I have a very bad taste with Lords of the Fallen as well as Dark Souls 2, just because gameplay, and I only played 20 minutes. But from what I've heard, hear me out. So the game does also have its positives, right? It's like the Scholar of the first edition really changed up a lot of it, and actually there was a lot of additions to that actually made the game flourish and a lot better. A lot of which, what I've heard is in playthrough 2, you feel a lot of those changes. And it's good that the game gets a lot of positives. Yeah, but exactly, you have to trudge through a whole first playthrough before you can actually feel like the good stuff. And by then, if you went through the game once, you have almost no other choice but to really like it, right? Because you devoted that much time to it already.
Hold on, I'm just a little confused. What do you mean by like you have to play through it to see changes?
Like, because there's like in playthrough 2, aren't enemies placed in different spots, spots?
No, Scholar of the First Sin, it was like a different version of the game that came out. And it came out for like, PS4, Xbox One, and PC and stuff. And in that version of the game, they changed up like enemy placements and all that. Because what I will say is in Dark Souls 2, you don't have to do any additional playthroughs. In fact, if you want new game plus content or difficulty now, you can do it in any area you want whenever, because that's what the bonfire aesthetics are for.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, the way Dark Souls 2 works is you have a specific area that's like governed by the closest like bonfire that you're at. And the enemies in that area, after like you clear them out, I don't know, 10 times, how many times, they stop spawning. If you want those enemies to spawn again, you can use a bonfire aesthetic, which will have all enemies respawn, but now they're like new game plus difficulty. So they're stronger and stuff. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, like additional new game pluses, like they work the same way they do in any Souls game. I don't think it's like stuff changes. Scholar, the first thing was just like a different version of the game, if that makes sense.
So which one is going to be on the list, though? Is Dark Souls 2 Vanilla going to be on the list then, or is it actual Scholar of the First Sin?
We could talk about them both.
I'll tell you right now.
I wouldn't mind that.
I only played the first Scholar edition because that's the one I had on my PS4. That's the one that I played. So I never played the original.
I beat both the original and Scholar of the First Sin, and I think Scholar of the First Sin is better. It's not like as drastically different as I think a lot of people would lead you to believe, but it does have different enemy placements and maybe a few additional mini bosses or something like that. But I don't know. Just to be completely clear here, Dark Souls 2 is probably like the second lowest on my list. So it's not like I love this game, but I don't think it's horrible. I think a big issue of it is like the slowness of the gameplay, because likening it to Lords of the Fallen is really sensible, because it does feel slow, and in a way that it feels like everything you do almost has like a slight delay to it. So that takes a bit of getting used to, and it's not great. It's probably like my least favorite like feeling game on this list. But that said, Dark Souls 2 has a lot of really cool ideas. So for stuff that I know the three of us, I don't think care a whole lot about, Dark Souls 2 probably has some of the most competent PvP of any of these games. Yeah, because it has an actual PvP arena. It's a lot like better in terms of its design of how those encounters work. Because I didn't get super deep into it, so I guess I can't speak too much on it, but outside of that, I think Dark Souls 2 has like some of the largest build variety out of any of these games. And again, it's really thought through, because for those who don't remember, Dark Souls 1 doesn't really have a good mechanic for like dual wielding, for example. Like you can equip a weapon on both hands, but it don't really work that well. Dark Souls 2 added in the like dual wielding mechanic and all that stuff. It had a lot of options in terms of like how you build your character, which is pretty cool. The level design isn't great. It's very linear. It's not super sensible. Like I remember one area, you're like in a poison swamp, and then you take an elevator up, and suddenly you're just in a lava area, and you're like, I don't get how this world like fits together in any real way. It just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. DLC for that game's probably some of the better content in all of it, to be honest. I don't know. It's a mixed bag. It's definitely not the best game on this list. I would say it's one of the worst. But to me, I had more fun playing that than I ever did Sekiro. Sekiro was just actively frustrating, and I felt like the game was working against me. Whereas Dark Souls 2, even though it didn't feel great, the game worked just fine. I got through it. I had a good time. It does have some really interesting areas in it. Most of the bosses suck. There's a lot of like just big dude in armor bosses.
Yeah.
So
It's all giants, right? It's all giants.
It's a lot of giants.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. So like for me, I would put it. If we put 2 and Scholar of the First Sin in the same package, because I don't think they're that different, then I would say for me it goes Sekiro, Dark Souls 2, personally.
For me, and I guess it's just because I have any positive memory with Sekiro, but yeah, for me it's Dark Souls 2, Sekiro. Which, this is fine. I think everything under number 1 should be debatable. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can go back through after we do a once over and really talk about all these games and see if we want to come with a solid order. But you know, for now, I think we can at least agree that Sekiro and Dark Souls 2 is probably going to be on the bottom of the list.
For now, we take the high ground.
Yeah,
I would say my beef with Dark Souls 2 would probably be like the same things you were talking about, but I was also experiencing weird like frame droppings and like the game just like slowed down like performance-wise at times, and I'm just like, why is it doing this? Is this my PlayStation or is this the game? I don't know. It was really
runs like butter on PC, so I don't know, but maybe it struggles on console.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And there are better
I
Dark Souls games that did go through that, but are still better.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the most I noticed, at least for me personally, is when I would go to like the bonfires, or if like I'm getting into like an area where I guess there's like a lot of like, the one I can remember is like a lot of like sunlight bleeding in everywhere, and just God, it was just like trying to like keep up. I'm like, wow, what's going on? But yeah, I mean, fuck, if I have to, I would. The problem is I don't have like a full on opinion for Sekiro, so I don't know if it's like the bottom for me, but I have more negative towards Dark Souls 2, so maybe in this equation I put Dark Souls 2 down there and lift Sekiro up, just because I don't have a full opinion, so I can't give it like an honest like, no, it's bad, you know.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I get it. Yeah. Well, because that's the boat I'm in with Demon Souls, where like I want to sing Demon Souls praises because I enjoyed what I played, but I played so little that I just feel like I don't have like much to say about it. Where I'm like, I'm sure if I played the whole game, I'd probably love it, but I can't put it above games that I've beaten 5, 6 times. You know, like I can't do that. Yeah. So it's like for me, the next on my list is Demon Souls, and I know people aren't going to be happy about that, but
it's the same for me. So yeah, don't even worry about it.
But Akhtar, I know you've got a lot to say about Demon Souls, and I'd be interested to hear it.
Go ahead, buddy. Where's it at for you? Where's it at?
So it's, for me, it's actually number 2.
Okay.
It's number 2 on the list, and I'll tell you why. So so a lot of the game, Dark Souls has humanity. Bloodborne has your beast. I was literally gonna say your bestiality.
Bro, you've been looking at some weird Bloodborne videos online.
Oh, there I go.
Face.
There I go, blood porning again. But what this one has is where you stand in the world, so how evil you are, or how good you are, or how neutral you are. And with every standing that you have within these worlds, within these different levels, different NPCs show up, all over. You'll have different interactions with different NPCs depending on your where you stand in that area, which is amazing to me, because like, and the way you can actually lower that is either by dying a lot, or the way you can increase it is by helping the NPCs that are already there, so that in subsequent playthroughs you already have a higher, I'm just gonna call it like higher. You're more what's that word called, dude? Fucking in Mass Effect, You're more fucking
Paragon?
Renegade?
yeah. You're more Paragon about it, basically.
Is this what world tendency is? Because I hear that thrown around.
That's what it is. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
World tendency.
Yeah, because
So
I
you can
hear
have
that term a lot in Demon Souls, but I never knew what that really meant.
So you can have like a positive world tendency, and what that does is you get that through helping people out, not dying, because most of the time and every time you get in there, you start with a neutral world tendency. So depending on what your actions, but if you kill NPCs or if you die a lot, then you have a negative world tendency, and each of those levels changes depending on what your world tendency is in those levels, which is really cool.
That
so
is
like,
actually cool. Yeah.
and yeah, you'll play, you'll go through the whole game and be like, I didn't even realize that like this character existed. You saw the character on the loading screen, but you never saw them throughout your whole playthrough, and it's because, well, you gotta fuck around with your world tendency to see what's going on. So I thought that is honestly like the first game. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the only game that really changes as though you morph the world with your actions, really. But correct me if I'm wrong.
As far as I'm aware, I can't think of that being a thing in any of the other games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, that's cool. I like that.
It really made it stand apart, in my opinion. Also, that is the love that I have for Demon Souls is like similar to like, not the love, but the feelings that I have for Demon Souls is similar to the feelings that you have for Dark Souls, because that was my first where I had to conquer, I had to beat it, like I had to learn from all of my mistakes. We had to go to like Reddit forums to figure out what is going on, So that's what I really did like about it. And it was also, the story of it is so weird to where it makes you think too on where it stands in the Soulsborne world, because I have a weird fetish in connecting all of these games, I do. So I feel like, with like Demon Souls was like the first, and then as time went on, the magic started to deteriorate and it became the Age of Fire type of thing. And as fire started to like go away, that's when people had to turn to blood for Bloodborne, I have a weird fetish with that. So
it's fun.
I feel like it was also one of the starting games that started in my, like, from how broad, like the broad strokes that this story is told in, it makes it very like a cool start head type of thing. And Dark Souls to me is the very strong connective tissue,
Yeah, for sure.
And what else, dude? The bosses in that game are fucking great in Demon Souls. Like I remember the man-eaters gave me just as much trouble as with you, Mikey, when you went against the gargoyles the first time. That's what the man-eaters was.
Oh, I don't even recall having struggles with the gargoyles, but maybe I did. It's been so long since I first.
Because like a second one comes at you out of nowhere, remember?
Yeah.
And like so that was where that happened. Like in there, and like, I don't know what it is about that type of feeling that you get when you're like halfway through killing a boss. You're like, oh, this is fucking awesome. This is easy. And then another one just pulls up like, yo, it's good. Bah! You're like, what is this bullshit? Like,
yeah.
Where were you the whole time?
No, I mean that those are all like strong points. I think Demon Souls is a fucking hell of a game. I'm upset that I didn't play it more. I think the real takeaway from here is, for God's sake, put that game on PS4. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Let me buy it on
absolutely.
PS4. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to play it. The reason I didn't play much of it is because I never had a PS3 and I don't have a PS5 to play the remake, so it's just inaccessible to me right now. I think Demon Souls is a really, really cool game. I think like you said, your first FromSoft game is always going to be special.
You always remember your first.
Yeah. Of course. So I think that's another reason why so many people are just so very attached to that one. Yeah, I think from what I played of Demon Souls, I think ultimately my takeaway was that, like, out of any of these games, and Akhtar, you can agree, disagree if you don't think this is true, but I think Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1, in terms of how they play, they feel the closest out of any of these games.
Yeah.
Because what I played as Demon Souls, I'm like, I felt right at home. I'm like, this plays just like Dark Souls. So it's very similar to Dark Souls. Of course, Dark Souls has a few added mechanics like the plunging attacks and stuff like that. I think. See, it's funny because out of all of these games, I feel like the vast majority of them go the route of like you kind of have separate like levels, or you may have levels that lead into each other, but it's either like separated or kind of what do I want to say? I guess just linear, but yeah, I think that's the thing. And like I'll just say this right now, my top two games, and I haven't quite decided on the order, but are Dark Souls and Bloodborne. And a big part of why those are in the top for me is because of the world design in those games, of how everything's interconnected, about how it's all like sensible, how you could be in one spot and see a different spot and you're going to be going there, and like the interconnectivity and how like shortcuts open up the loop back on old areas you went through. It's so fucking clever, and how all of that is designed. Like it's insane to me.
I will agree with you on this. I think Demon Souls did kind of shoot itself in the foot with the whole world tendency thing because they weren't able to put in that amazing connective tissue of world building. So I think I will, even though world tendency was a very cool concept and the only game to have done that, you're absolutely right. It did kind of suffer a little bit with the level design, where you would love to see how all of these areas were able to connect with one another. Especially, I think that's where with Dark Souls, that's one of some of the most beautiful, strongest level design out of like all of the games, minus Bloodborne.
Right.
But I think no, you're 100% right. Like, I think the only thing that is making Demon Souls really kind of fall back even just a little bit is the level, like the level design for each level is good.
It's great, yeah.
But the connection, is missing. Exactly.
Well, it's just so impressive from like a design standpoint, getting all that stuff to interconnect in such a clever way, and having multiple paths that might lead to a different area altogether. And you're like, this I didn't even know this was here. Like, I think it's the sense of discovery, and that's what's so fun to me. Because I mentioned this when we were talking about comfort games. Like, I love exploring in games, and of course you can explore in all of these games, but it's made that much better when like all these areas interconnect and you can just go off in a direction and find some weird secret place you never thought you'd even find, and you're like, this is mind-blowing to me. I think that stuff is so cool. So that's because, you know, another game on this list, Dark Souls 3, I genuinely love. I think Dark Souls 3 is super fun. I think the gameplay is really, really good. I love the vast majority of the bosses. I mostly have positive things to say about that game, but what bums me out is just how linear it is. Because it's like, man, if this were an interconnected world like Dark Souls 1, I think I would love it all the more. But because it isn't, it feels more video gamey than perhaps I'd like, you know? I don't know.
I think also, are we moving on from Demon Souls? Because
if you got more to say,
so this is what's going on right now. I think our list is in 3 tiers: Sekiro, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and Demon Souls. Basically, kind of. Well, Demon Souls for me is number 2, but I'm down to have it at tier 3 with 3 and 4, and then we got Dark Souls and Bloodborne kind of swapping between.
That seems like where it's falling. I mean, Brian, do you have thoughts on that?
I'm kind of the same. I'm pretty much kind of the same following you guys, but for me, actually, I sadly would put Dark Souls 1 kind of there. And it's honestly not necessarily... Okay, so it's not necessarily the game's fault. It's just around that time period when I was also playing that game, I was going through a very terrible, like, breakup. So it's just... that game kind of brings back certain memories sometimes, and for me, it's hard for me to shake it off once in a while. But I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of that. But God, that was the Dark Souls that I fucking struggled the most on. Struggled so fucking hard.
The Xbox 360 Dark Souls.
God, yeah. The ones that really, really fucked me up were fucking, to this day, I think they're not necessarily hard, but because of how much time I spent with them, I have such a vendetta against the two, is fucking Ornstein and Smaug. I worked so hard, weeks, months. Like, even Mike knows, like, I was legit. Oh my god! Though I never had to think so hard in a video game until I met those two. Like, it was just something about them. And the thing is, and I understand if you kill the fucking Ornstein's first, you just deal with Smog, which is easier. But my problem is, I wanted Ornstein's armor, so I had to save Ornstein for last. So I had to go like the harder route. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
fuck.
well, and for
armor.
for those who don't know why that's like harder is, well, like overpowered Ornstein's probably more difficult anyway, but Ornstein closes the gap on you. Like, he just rushes towards you, so he's being very aggressive while big fat Smo's in the back with his hammer just kind of wobbling towards you. So Smo's easy to avoid. It's really hard to avoid Ornstein. So when you're trying to kill Smo first and Ornstein's constantly on your back, you're like, dude, fucking back off.
But yeah, and then obviously the next one would be the Four Kings. I find the Four Kings pretty difficult.
Four Kings. My answer to the Four Kings has always and will forever be going in full Havel's gear, just attacking, tanking the hits, drinking, attacking, because the amount of poise you get with Havel's armor means they're not going to stagger you at all. So you can just eat their hits, drink when you need to, and just keep fucking attacking. Like, that is always my answer to that boss fight, because it's a bitch otherwise.
Yeah. They I struggled with, but it was, fuck man, Ornstein and Smog. That's why when I saw him again in Dark Souls 3, I'm like, let's go, baby! You and me! that was a good little moment for me. But, like I said, I do like Dark Souls 1. The reason why, for me, it's a little bit ranked lower is because of the time period when I was playing it. I was going through kind of a rough time, and yeah. So for me, it more has a heavier emotional weight because I kind of use that game to filter anger and things like that, and it kind of brings me back to like a part of me I didn't really like that I was kind of becoming in a weird way. So it's like I said, Dark Souls 1 just has a weirder like
it's a lot of baggage with Dark Souls 1 apparently.
Kind of, I know. And it's nothing against the game. It's nothing against it. Like I find the fucking worlds beautiful, like especially Arin Londo.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger is beautiful. Oh yeah, that one. That.
But no, it's just like the level design in that game is just so beautiful. It is so like well done. Like I even like the little forest area that goes down to the Hydra. Like it's just, I don't know. It's all neatly like packed together, and I like it. And just like the right when you find Gwen and you're right there at the end, just that fucking open area, and the music, music.
That final boss fight is so fucking okay. Sorry.
So then what I'm gleaming from this is you would put Dark Souls 3 above Dark Souls 1 then? Is that what you're saying?
I would. Okay. And this is the thing, and not for Dark Souls 3. The story's pretty fun. I do agree it is very linear. I mean, like, for me, I like the really callback with Ornstein. I fucking love the fight with the, what is it, the Nameless King. I love that.
That's a good fucking fight.
That is a good fight.
Like, that fight is just... like, every time we would go and do it, Mike, I would get so excited, because I'm like, let's fucking do it. We get to fight this man riding a dragon, then we fight the fucker. Let's do this. Like, it's just... I don't know.
And the arena, too, you're fighting them on clouds. Like, it's cool.
Like, I don't know. Like, Dark Souls 3, and for me, it was just... The reason why I liked that more is because obviously the one I spent the most hours with. Because I beat it 3 times, like, with you, Mike. Literally. But no, it's just... I like the mechanics to it. It felt nice, and me, I'm a more of an aggressive kind of Dark Souls-y player. I mean, I'm Rambo. I'm stupid. I'm running in there like an idiot. That's just me. That's just how I play in Dark Souls. And I kind of feel like in that game I can be a little bit more aggressive. Like a little bit more than Dark Souls 1. Like, especially with like the rolling, because I can kind of fuck around and get in there with, my fucking Beyblade and sword, my dual scythes, like, that shit. Like, I don't know. I really liked, I guess, the changes that Dark Souls 3 brought to the series. And that's why, for me, I would probably put Dark Souls 3 a little bit higher, just because I liked some of the new changes that they were kind of implementing. Like, I don't know, especially the fucking, I don't know what they're called, like art types for the blades. Like, your those weapons. They
Oh,
all
the
have,
weapon
like,
arts. Yeah.
the weapons arts. Like, that shit is just cool to me. Like, I like that. I'm just like, oh my god, these weapons have like kind of like hidden abilities and shit like that. Like, that's just, I don't know. I was into that. As soon as you show me the Beyblade and sword, I'm like, I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, Dark Souls 3 is like, well, I'd say both Dark Souls 3 and no, because then I'm freaking about Sekiro. The game's got a lot more anime as they went on. Like Bloodborne,
Yes,
Dark
they
Souls
did.
3, Sekiro. Those are very anime games when you think about it.
They really are.
Yeah, I think Dark Souls 3 is rad. It just
The bosses aren't very memorable.
I
Besides,
actually
like,
disagree with that. I think the
certain
bosses
ones.
are pretty memorable for me. I think the issue is because at least by the time Dark Souls 3 came around, like I had already played and beaten the fuck out of Dark Souls 1, played and beaten the fuck out of Dark Souls 2. So here comes Dark Souls 3, and it's not like Bloodborne where it's like a pretty different game with a lot of like different mechanics. It's still like, Dark Souls 3 has different mechanics, but it's still Dark Souls. So for me, I would say that is the easiest game on this list, which
It is,
isn't
yes.
such a bad thing necessarily, but like outside of like I maybe 2 bosses in that game, I don't think I ever really struggled, and unfortunately struggling is like a big part of these games, and it's kind of what sticks with you.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I don't know, I feel like Dark Souls 3 out of any of these, you can really just kind of breeze through it, and it's not quite as satisfying as a result.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
The DLC for Dark Souls 3 can get pretty fucking difficult, but base game not so much.
Yeah, I haven't done I think, what is it, the dragon one? It's the only one I haven't done yet. Whatever that one is, the Ring City.
The Ring City, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one I haven't done yet, but
It's good.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the reason why I would rank it higher is just because of its mechanics. And I do agree, it is a little bit easier, when you got dumb, stupid meat brain, like,
Yeah.
I can,
Well,
my dumb monkey brain can, find amusement
right, well,
in it.
because we were talking about this last night, and you were talking about how, like, you can, spam, like, the roll in Dark Souls 3, and you're like, yeah, I'm a really, like, fidgety person, so I like doing that. And it's like, yeah, like, just the very fact that you can spam roll so much in that game, or just spam R1 so much, like, it's...
Yeah.
It's weird, because Dark Souls 3 is really fun to play, but it just feels almost trivial as a result, because it's just kind of, like, too easy. I don't know.
I think
can agree with that.
What happened with Dark Souls 3, because it came out after Bloodborne, is that they took in some of the good parts of the combat that you had in Bloodborne, but you still had Dark Souls bosses and enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like their way of maybe trying to mesh the two maybe a little bit, see what they can make.
And it just didn't work because your character was so much faster and strong. Like, you had hunter abilities, basically, but you still had Dark Souls bosses where, the path to actually beat them is to analyze and, like, study what they're doing. Like you were saying, Mikey, like, you can take a step back and be like, what the fuck is this guy about? What is he trying to do? But in Dark Souls 3, like you were saying, it just becomes trivial because there's a point where you're just like, dude, I'm faster than you in every way. I'm stronger. I'll eat you for breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a great game, but for me, it didn't reach Dark Souls or Bloodborne levels of like, this is a masterpiece when I'm playing.
Yeah.
Because that's what I consider Dark Souls and Bloodborne to be, and it's funny. Like I want to talk about both these games. I want to give them their time, but maybe I'm jumping the gun here. But I think the more I think about it, I think the top of my list has to be Bloodborne, just because as much as I adore Dark Souls, and goddamn do I adore it, it's ultimately an unfinished game because the back third of that game, the quality dips like a bitch, and like especially like Demon Ruins and Lost Izalith, horrible, horrible
Hurtful.
zones. Generally, I know
Hurtful.
everybody jokes about like Blighttown, right? Blighttown is the big joke of that game, and yeah, it sucked back on the 360 when you had to play it at like 10 frames per second. But now that we have these games with modern consoles, and that's not a big deal. Blighttown's really not that big of a deal. I actually think it could be kind of a neat area if you give it the time of day. The Demon Ruins and Lost Izalith are just bad areas. They are horribly designed. There's a lot of just like copy and paste enemies, like old bosses, like put a bunch of Capra demons there, put a bunch of Taurus demons there. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
You fight an Asylum demon reskin for the 3rd time. I don't fucking know. You have a boss arena, it's just lava. The floor is just lava, and it's a big fire worm that gets you. And after you beat him, the next area, it's just lava. And you're like, what the fuck? And don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on the Bed of Chaos. The out of any boss, that is the worst boss in any of these games. I don't care. It is the worst. It is so fucking horseshit.
You did like all the roots and everything?
Fucking floor dropping down, and you have to go over there, you can kill that thing, you gotta go on the left, kill that thing, you gotta drop down the middle and just hope you don't fall to your death because you can't see where you're going. Like, I hope I get that vine because otherwise I die. The worst boss in From Software history, and you can put my stamp on that. Like, it is horrible. It pains me to say it because I think Dark Souls is such an incredible game, but that back little end of it just sucks. And
Yeah.
And Bloodborne keeps it really strong all the way through. There are parts of Bloodborne I don't like as much as others, but overall the quality remains pretty damn consistent. Like, there's not like one spot it's like, yeah, they really fucking dropped the ball there. Like, that game is just so fucking solid.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say on Dark Souls is just that, and I can 100% understand your frustration with the latter half of that game, or the latter fifth of that game, because DLC came out for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, DLC came out for it. But so you had future plans for it, right? But so then why didn't you make sure that your base was strong through and through before you had the DLC come out? You know what I mean? And that was.
I gotta imagine it was a scheduling thing. It was a timing thing. They just couldn't spend the extra time on it. Like, I don't know the whole story behind it, but like, it's well documented that they just didn't finish that part of it, so they really had to rush it. And it sucks because, like you said, they then release DLC after the fact, and the DLC is really good. So you're just like, why couldn't you have just? And that's what everyone was hoping for the like Dark Souls remaster. Is like, oh, are they gonna like tweak the back part of it that kind of sucked? And no, they didn't. It's still the same thing. It still sucks, and damn it, that hurts. Like, the first Dark Souls, more than any, like, people always ask, like, if they could like totally remake a game. Like, I'm so glad they did that with Demon Souls. The remake looks really cool, but I don't think Demon Souls needed a remake. I think Demon Souls, from what I saw of it, that seems pretty solid all the way through. Dark Souls needed like a ground up like remake where they could actually like fix some of that shit towards the end that just blows.
But Mike, they remastered it.
But they didn't change anything, bro. They just made the graphics a little better. Maybe. It's hard to tell.
Can I just point out I think it was over this weekend or whatever. I was texting Mike so angrily because I was fighting the fucking Asylum demon. Bro, I was going off on his, like, in his DMs, just bitching about the Asylum demon because I had to go back there for the second time.
I think that one is the Stray demon or whatever, but it's the one underneath where you fall through the floor.
Yeah, I was fucking texting Mike. I'm like, this guy is stupid. I'm fighting him so much. I see all the bullshit. I see it. And Mike's like, no man, there ain't no bullshit. Let me tell you. I'm like, Mike, I'm doing that strategy. The bullshit though.
I don't know. I have a feeling, Brian, unfortunately, you're not playing the best version of that game because the Switch version does seem to have some weird shit that happens every now and then. And again, I know a lot of it is well, that I have to assume is a server side issue because, again, online on the Switch fucking blows. So like there's we've had a lot of weird lag. We've had like instances of like enemies like just not attacking, or like you said, the multiple balls in Sen's Fortress.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
If you're gonna play the Dark Souls remaster, I love the Switch, and honestly, for the most part, it's fine on the Switch. But get it somewhere else if you can, because it's probably better.
Yeah, like it's not bad. I mean, I feel like it's kind of more that thing where it's like if you beaten it and you're just kind of like, I'll play it here and there. You know what I mean? Like this wouldn't probably be the one I would sink heavy hours on.
If you're dying
PC.
to have Dark Souls on the go when you're riding the bus or something, then get it on the Switch.
Exactly.
But otherwise, if you just really want to experience Dark Souls, get it on another console or PC or something.
Yeah, because I was mad. I'm like, bro, he is fucking curving these wave shots, and this is when Mike fucked me up. I'm like, bro, I wish I could just show you and take a video and send it to you. And and there was
Fucking
a pause.
guy.
He's like, there was like a pause between us, and Mike's just like, but bro, if you just hold down the share button, it records like, what was it, like 15 minutes or 30, whatever. And I'm just sort of like, no shit.
Yeah, I think it records the last like 30 to 60 seconds of gameplay. I forget exactly how it works, but it's like, dude, like, how did you not know you could do it? You had a Switch since fucking launch, and you never tried? I made clips because we played like Dark Souls before, and I made clips of Brian dying. One of them I used to promote a stream we were doing. And I was like, what did you think, Brian, that I just had the Elgato set up when we were just casually playing? And thought like, I don't know, I'll just record. No, of course not. That's a pain in the ass. I just hit the share button, held it down for like 2 seconds.
And I felt so bad. I'm just sitting there like, fuck, bro, I got over 1,000 hours in Animal Crossing, and I didn't know about to hold the share button. Anyways.
Yeah, anyways.
I'm an idiot.
Dark Souls 1 was my first Souls game, and I love it dearly. And here's the thing too, is like, if I gotta get right down to it, like if you put Dark Souls in front of me and Bloodborne in front of me and told me you have to play one now, choose, I'd probably pick Dark Souls. But
really?
Because it's home, right? It's like the thing, like it's a comfort to me. It's like we talked about, so it's something I know so well, and I can just play it and I can just feel right back to where I was. Bloodborne, I think, is all around a better game. I don't even think I have anything negative to say about it. I think I pretty much liked almost everything in Bloodborne. No, there's some bosses. There's some bosses I really disliked, and like Mikolash is the first that comes to mind.
Mikolash sucked.
Fuck that.
But there's a huge negative about that game that we are going to talk about, if you don't mind me interjecting.
Go ahead.
Is it the Chalice Dungeons?
The Chalice Dungeons are the worst part of that game. And here, I'll tell you why. You're not forced to do them, right? But if you want to know what the fuck is kind of going on in the world, you kind of have to play them. That's what's the worst part about it. You do have to play them.
And he was getting mad at me.
And I get that you don't play it.
Go ahead.
I think this is like a big common misconception, because the way the story is told in all of these games is so intriguing. You're picking up clues left and right, and you're looking at like, the description, and then it's up to you to figure out, what is actually happening in the world, what happened that had everything lead up to this event, And it just sucks that there is a huge chunk of this game where it could have implemented them in the world very successfully, but instead they chose the fact that you get to do this in the dungeons. And they were able to come up with an in-lore reason where, like, well, no, the Temerians, they're in these dungeons, and they're the first people, and this is where the plague of the beasts kind of originated from. This is where they discovered, a lot of the cosmic. It's crazy because the deeper you go into the dungeons, somehow you're getting closer and closer to like the cosmos, which is a cool concept. But yeah, you didn't notice that? Like when you go into like either the second to last or actually the very last. Actually, it is the very last one. You're going against the kin. In the very last dungeon, you're going against King.
Because remember, I was going.
Oh, sorry. And you see like in the air like that you're walking in. They say it's not dust. This little specks of like you can see into the cosmos type of stuff. But it just sucks how there was so much of this lore. You go against the Thumerian Queen. You go against not the blood-starved beast, but the bloodletting beast, which he actually has huge lore significance to the game. The people are saying that he could very likely be one of the scholars that I forgot his name. Starts with an L. Loris, I think, or something like that.
Okay.
But then the DLC kind of instead made that made the DLC fucking made him into like the fire cleric beast. If you guys got to him, he's like he's like a pseudo secret boss. He's not like you'll run into him if you just take a left instead of a right. So there was so much of that game that was lost in the Chalice Dungeons, and you have to be very patient with those. You really do. If you like the Chalice Dungeons, though, guess what? You're in for a great time because now you have basically unlimited game to play. But it's all like you had the issue with that latter fifth of Dark Souls, right, Mikey? It was all copy paste, very empty. That's what the Chalice Dungeons are. It's all copy paste until you get to the bosses, and it's all the same environments. Like,
see, it's interesting because you know a lot more about the Bloodborne lore than I do, so that's interesting to hear that like there is like genuinely necessary information and stuff like that held behind the Chalice Dungeons, because I was under the assumption that it was basically all just bonus content, because I only completed like a few of the Chalice Dungeons, and I'm like, yeah, these are cool, but you know, I'd rather play the main game.
Yeah, I remember Octar was pulling me and Mo through them, and he got mad because I didn't have a certain chalice. He's like, why don't you have this chalice? I said, because Octar never got the chalice. He's like, well, you should have this chalice. I'm like, I don't have the chalice, Octar. That's the furthest I got.
Because you get the chalice when you play the main game.
I was playing with myself and Mike and Mo. Okay, well, maybe I didn't pick it up. I have to go find it.
He killed Bloodstarved Beast, but he didn't pick up the chalice, I think. Or no. Wasn't it. Bloodstarved Beast is where you have to pick up the chalice. There's another chalice from the Nightmare Frontier where you go against Amygdala, and then you get the chalice from Amygdala. You never had gone against Amygdala, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember which one I was missing, but I remember because we were clearing a bunch of them out, but I just didn't have one. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I like the chalice. Actually, I'll be honest, I kind of actually had fun in the chalice because it was just like a weird way to just kind of turn off your brain and just.
But that's also because you're playing with friends. If you're doing them by yourself, man,
I will say, I found the Chalice Dungeons to be kind of bizarre that like they weren't just like end game content, because I remember for a while like Mo and I think even Brian was doing this where they were just like grinding tons of blood echoes through the Chalice Dungeons, and I'm like, y'all are trivializing the content in this game. Like, what are you doing? Like, why is this an option? Like, because like you go in those Chalice Dungeons and like the enemies you face, like it takes a little bit to kill them, but you can get them coming at you one by one, and the amount of blood echoes they drop is insane, and you're just like,
insane.
Why
it's
is
crazy.
This like this? Like this seems like a hack. Like.
Well, that was the other really bad part about the Chalice Dungeons. So you basically had to complete the Chalice Dungeon after you got the Chalice. So like after you kill Bloodstarved Beast, they kind of expected you to now go do the Chalice Dungeons because there's a certain portion of the story that they're telling in the Chalice Dungeons, which is the connective tissue to what you're doing next. It was just
so you're supposed to bounce back and forth, basically.
But like the worst part is how we were, praising the level design and how it's so continuous. Well, that puts a halt to everything now, doesn't it? Like, that puts a hard stop to everything if you're trying to, like, actually go through and collect each item in the order that you should, so then you can actually connect all the dots. And to this day, people claim they know what the story of Bloodborne is, but, like, come on, man. The story of Bloodborne is like 7 or 8 different stories. Don't give me that shit. Like, all right, like, I don't want to hear this. Like, there you got some, what is it? Old school horror in there. You got H.P. Lovecraft in there. You got freaking.
I love that part.
You have all this stuff. Like, the story of Bloodborne is not set in stone. All right.
You got that Victorian look too.
I turned into a space squid at the end.
Yeah, like
Mike.
I was the little baby space squid.
For people who don't know, he was staring
10
at
out
the
of 10.
camera happy and just swaying back and forth.
I don't know what the fuck is going on in Bloodborne. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know. I just know it's a fun game. I don't.
yeah.
Out of all these
have
games, I could probably piece together the stories of all the Dark Souls games. I could probably piece it together of Demon Souls, and I only played like an hour and a half of it. I don't know what the fuck's going on in Bloodborne. I just know, like, there is a hunt. The blood is bad. Or good. Maybe. A squid in space. Like, it's just like, fine. Whatever. It's just cool.
It is. Really cool.
It is. Well, that's what I liked. It's the weapons that got me, how they could, like, switch and all that shit. I'm like, that's cool. Like, the scythe turns into a scythe, break it down into a sword, turn it back into a big scythe. I'm like, fuck yeah.
So where a lot of those other games have like a huge mesh of weapons, I think with Bloodborne, every weapon was actually its own weapon class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they all played differently. It's kind of like the whole Monster Hunter thing too, where like, yeah, if you switch up the weapon, you're playing a different game.
Totally. Yeah. The weapons in Bloodborne are, I think, some of the best parts, especially with their transformations and stuff, because there's some wacky shit in that game, and it is so cool. I'll tell you what, like, Bloodborne is like the Van Helsing game I always wanted but never got. Like, it's so, I don't know, it's just so cool. I love everything about it. The aesthetic, the gameplay is fast paced, but like it's it's not like a Sekiro fast pace where it's just like hit, deflect, deflect, hit, deflect, deflect.
It's still
Mikiri
calculated.
Counter, jump. Yeah, like it's like Dark Souls, but just like on meth. You know, like it's I don't know, it's great.
And that's what I kind of liked about it. It was just like
there's another thing that
my
I also
little
hate about.
ADHD brain's like, yes.
There's also another thing that I absolutely hate about Bloodborne, even if it's my favorite one, by the way.
Right.
So it's funny how I'm saying all these negative things about it.
No,
and
but
I'm
it's
like,
good.
still
It's
the best
good
one.
that we're talking about that though, because like in Bloodborne, you know, none of these games are perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect game. They all have issues, but still, you can be a masterpiece and still be flawed.
I just want to remind people at home, this is opinion based. Just putting that out there.
No, this is fact. God damn it! Screw that opinion shit. This is right.
What I also hated about Bloodborne was the blood gem system, because you don't get any of the good blood gems that could, and you don't really need them. Obviously, you can level up and still get through. But once you get to like playthrough 3, playthrough 4, and you don't have good blood gems, guess what you have to do? You have to do the Chalice Dungeons, because that's where you get the good blood gems. You have to do it. Otherwise, you're screwed. You're screwed in those later playthroughs. No one said that you had to go to playthrough 3 or 4 or 5, but guess what, man? That's what's really needed now. And they're so important to your character's progression in strength and ability, to where by that point you're forced to go through it. And if you haven't touched a single Chalice dungeon for 3 playthroughs, and you have to go from level 1 all the way to like the latter end where you get into the more complicated ones, those first 3 chalices, you will want to you will hate the game because of it, because it's so trivial at that point for you. I just think they were implemented awfully. That's the other thing, I guess. Like, if they were a necessary part of the game, why didn't you implement them like well enough? You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's the weakest part of the game. Overall, yeah, like you were saying, Mikey, both Dark Souls and Bloodborne are absolute solid games, but they don't come without their very heavy weaknesses.
Well, and that's the funniest thing, because like, you know, we love these games, and because of that we're able to pick them apart so meticulously, because we know very well where the flaws are in them, you know, like again, like any more of these games, if I had played more of Demon Souls, if I had played more of Sekiro, I'm sure I'd have a lot more to say, both good and bad, about those games, but you know, I just don't know them as intimately as I know these other ones. And well, can we? Well, Brian, what how do you feel about Bloodborne? Do you feel like Bloodborne's your favorite?
Yeah, Bloodborne's probably my top. Like I said, I like the quick pace of it. The weapons, oh my god, as soon as the weapons were like transforming, I'm just like, this is it.
I remember your face the second you got the scythe.
Oh my god.
This dude and his fucking scythes, man, I tell you. he's got a harvest. He's got some wheat he needs to fucking harvest.
Dude, like almost every single one of these Souls-like games, legitly, I've always rocked the scythe. Dark Souls 1, the fucking scythe in the whatchamacallit, dead area, and then you get the fucking scythe from the from the painting. Dark Souls 2, I don't really know. Dark Souls 3, you can get one in the DLC from what I remember, and it's cool little like, hey, look at me, I'm an anime scythe person, you know? And Bloodborne, you get the cool Kachingi scythe. Like, it's cool as shit. They're so cool with their scythes, you can't tell me otherwise. I love
we
scythes.
need to start a series that's like Brian reviewing games based on like how many scythes they have. I give SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom 0 out of 10 scythes. There are no scythes in this game. Horrible game.
Horrible game, but I give it 1 point for Squidward's nose.
It was a fantastic game. Had a lot of fun playing it. 0 out of 10 scythes. No scythes. Horrible game.
Try it at least once.
But yeah, I will say though, one of the things that I really did like actually from Bloodborne is two fights actually kind of stick out for me. The first one is, I can't remember exactly the details, but I want to say you're fighting this like king or whatever, like on this like snowy rooftop. Like,
at Castle Canehurst.
Yes. Yeah.
That fight, I have my favorite memory ever. I was still in San Francisco, and I remember because like Mike, you and Mo went to bed, and it was just me up, and I was playing by myself for a while. I beat the little spider dude, Sid or whatever his name was, got rid of him, and then I did the next boss, and then I got to him, and it was fucking like 4 or 5 in the morning, and Brian's still playing fucking Bloodborne. It hasn't stopped, and I got to that fight, bro. I got him in 3 tries. My favorite fucking fight. Like, just that fight was just so much fun.
Yeah, and he gets when he goes into like ultra rage mode too. When he like swings his sword, he swings his sword, but the swing isn't done yet because then there's an after swipe that comes while you're just like, dude, I have to like really stay away.
Bro, I legitly, the amount of times I had to switch in and out between the sword and the scythe to give me range, give me close, like, oh my god, like I legitly was. You and I talk about Brian calculating everything. It was in that fight. That fight was like probably one of my favorites. And then I know it's probably one of the more weaker ones, but it's not really a fight. You're more chasing that little bastard around in the little, I don't know.
You like that? Really? That fucking blew. That was the
worst boss fight in the game.
Oh, I thought it was kind of interesting.
No, you're wrong. God, you're wrong.
I knew the whole subjective, but you're objectively wrong.
Yeah, it's okay.
Fucking this guy picks one of the few gimmick bosses. That's the thing. I dislike gimmick bosses.
I hate
Beta
gimmick bosses.
Chaos, fucking Mikolash. Like, just give me a fucking good fight. That's all I want.
You guys had such a strong base. Why'd you have to go away from it? That's what I hate about all these Monster Hunter games.
Yeah, I mean,
you have such a strong base, and it's just like, why are you doing this gimmick shit? That's the same thing I feel about all these Souls games. Like, why?
It's not necessarily him. I like the aesthetic of what his like location was. Like, I like the idea of like the portals that he was like coming in at. I know he was a gimmick. I guess it was like his like the aesthetic and like not him, just what was around
all
him.
The aesthetic in that game is great. That's all great.
No. I understand it, but I'm just saying, like, I really liked how, I don't know, I like that little area.
Well, it's because you're in his dream, so that's the, you're in his dream. So the second you kill him, because remember how you enter that world is you look at a skeleton with a cage on his head, and then you make contact with it, and then you're in his dream. So he's dead in real life, but he's still alive in his dream, and he doesn't know he's dead until you kill him. And then that's why he says, I'll forget everything, not just because when you wake up, you only have like 10 minutes to recover what you dreamt, but he's dead, and he doesn't know it.
Yeah, I remember doing that fight
baby.
I remember doing that fight with like Mike and Mo, and I think we were helping Mo, and Mo just couldn't fucking get him. And we had to keep doing that over and over and over and over and over and over.
It would have been cool too if he took like interesting or different paths as well, but no, you just followed the same path.
It's the same path every time.
It's just a straight line going up. But yeah, like I said, it's his aesthetic that I liked, but the fight that stuck out to me was that fucking whoever that guy was, I can't remember his name, that castle top fucking fight was just, that was fun as shit for me.
And he's a boss that's in a area that you can beat the whole game and not even touch.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can totally skip Castle Canhurst. Yeah, because you get the summons and you gotta like go find the carriage to get to it.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can totally skip it.
What's your not your favorite, but what are one of your stronger bosses for Bloodborne, Mikey?
So funny enough, I think one of the best starting bosses in any game ever is the Cleric Beast. I love the Cleric Beast.
That's a fun one.
Rad as shit. Just fucking just jumps down and he's huge and you're like, what the fuck? You're on a bridge and you're like, fuck this shit. Like that is such a rad beginning boss. I love that. I will say of the DLC, I thought Lady Maria in the Clock Tower was a really good boss fight. I enjoyed that a lot. Fucking Ludwig, that boss pissed me off so much.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It was satisfying when we finally killed him.
His fucking cries.
Yeah, as a lot of cool bosses.
Oh, no,
I will say I usually don't even like bosses with like just multiple random dudes, but I even thought like the Shadows of Yharnam were pretty cool.
They were very.
Which one was that?
The one where you go against the 3 people with the hoods and they're like they have snakes on them. They're like,
oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like most of the boss fights in Bloodborne I thought were all really pretty solid. There's just a few like Mikolash that I thought like this is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I found the werewolf wife annoying because of her screams.
Werewolf wife?
You're
talking about...
Is that her name?
The one that was like,
Vicar Amelia. Yeah,
Vicar Amelia,
that's what you're talking about.
Like, God, just her screams and the cries. I'm just like, please, shut up.
Yeah, but even the fucking like set dressing for that fight, because you're like in this cathedral and it's just like flowing like hair and like other shit. It just looks so cool that even though that boss is kind of frustrating, you're just like, this is awesome. Like,
so
every boss in Bloodborne just has so much like gravitas to it, you know.
Funny enough, my favorite bosses aren't even the beasts. Like, the beasts are cool, but one of my favorite ones, 2 actually, it's one where in the same cathedral that you fight Vicar Amelia, you go against the hunter.
Hunter, yeah.
Who
that's
took
a
down,
tough fight.
Yeah,
that's a really tough fight.
Very tough fight, and it's one of my favorites because you're a hunter and he's a hunter, and you two have the same skills minus one thing. And it's just that he has infinite ammo, and he has basically infinite ammo, so he can shoot and use the hunter bone to teleport. But other than that, it is legit skill on skill, 1-on-1. I am your equal. Let's go. Like, yeah. I loved that showdown. It's not even a like a cutscene, but like a boss fight that's like advertised in the game, or it's not even like there's not a cutscene before it or anything.
No, it just kind of happens.
Well, you have to go through the one hunter's like quest line. What's her name?
Yep.
The fucking
the Hunter of Hunters.
Vox. Does it start with a V, right?
I don't know. I'm blanking on it, but like you have to like follow through the quest, because like I remember, because the first time I saw it, like I think I was on call with like you and Mo O'Brien, and I was like talking to you guys about like, holy fuck, there's like a hunter where Vicar Amelia was, and then like I'm just like for the next like half hour I'm like, well, I just gotta keep fighting this dude until I beat him, because I had no idea this was gonna be a thing.
Yeah, that one, that is one of the and honestly, I think for Dark Souls, my favorite one is in the DLC, when you go against the Chimera. Right when you walk in,
Chimera.
right
I
when you
haven't
walk,
done the DLC.
right when you walk through the fog gate, it's just like coming right at you, and he's just like, it's this cool, like very well designed boss that's just super aggressive. Oh shit! Also, actually,
let me ask you just real quick while you're talking about that boss fight. Have you ever gone back to that area, like after getting further into the DLC? Have you ever gone back just to see what's there?
Oh yeah, what's her name? Artorias's what's her name?
No,
She's there
well,
though, right?
Well, no, she shows up. If it's the person that you're talking about, she shows up after you beat Artorias in that arena.
Oh, okay.
But the Chimera, or the Sanctuary Guardian, I think is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
You fight one, but if you ever go back, I think you got to make some progress in the DLC. I forget how much. Maybe you have to beat Artorias. I don't know. But if you go back, you will find 2 of them there now.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to know, because everything happens for a reason in those games. I just kind of want to know the lore reason, like why now it's Spawn 2. Like it really, I guess that world really wants to make sure people don't go through and discover the truth.
That's my, because like funny enough, like none of this is probably attached, but I think it's metaphorical, where like in order to get to that DLC, you have to. Well, you have to go to the Duke's Archive, you kill a fucking golem, and then you go back to the like Darkroot Basin, where the Hydra was.
Kill the Hydra.
Because, there's that one Crystal Guardian that you kill, and then that lady from Ulasil pops up, and she'll bring you to the DLC. Well, it's funny that area is where the Hydra is, because I feel like, you have this Sanctuary Guardian, like, protecting Ulasil. You beat it, you go through, and it's like 1 wasn't enough. It's like you cut off the 1 head, now 2 are in its place. So it's like, gotta make sure that nobody gets through,
Oh wow,
that's crazy.
That's a really good lore. Oh wow, yeah. Damn.
Yeah. All the DLC fights are really good. I really like the Artorias fight. It's fun.
Yeah. And also the little details, like once you do the DLC and you go against Sif.
Yeah. And he recognizes you.
Haven't done that yet. That's what I want to do at least once.
Oh man. Oh.
I haven't done it. I haven't seen it.
It's great.
And it's extremely awesome connective tissue. I love using that term for stories, by the way. Now that's my favorite term to use for like stories. But it really does fill in a lot of the questions that people had about Artorias and this, like, it didn't have to be told, but like you had all this whole world literally talking about him, like how he's a hero, and you got to play it.
Yeah. No, I
don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it now because
No, you're good.
We didn't dive too deep into it because it's hard to, and I don't even understand most of it, but like, from a lore standpoint, I gotta say, for me, Dark Souls 1 lore will always hit the hardest. Now, granted, it's the lore that I dove the deepest into, so obviously I'm biased there. But like, I just feel like, I don't know a lot about Demon Souls lore. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about Bloodborne lore, and I feel like Dark Souls 2 and 3 are really just building off of Dark Souls 1 lore anyway. So like, to me, in my opinion, Dark Souls 1 takes the cake in that department. But just some really cool
for me
shit.
And like you, I delve deep as hell like a madman in the Bloodborne lore, and even like I'm not saying that I know what's going on, but I have a grasp of what the hell is going on. I want to dive as deep with Dark Souls lore as I did with Bloodborne, but obviously out of just lack of experience with Dark Souls lore for me, like, it's the Bloodborne lore and it's just this sucks because it's all just because of how much time we put into each one.
Totally. It's one of those things that if I knew more about the Bloodborne lore, I'd probably love it just as much, if not more. But because and
vice versa.
I think it's just, for better or for worse, I think Bloodborne is somehow even more inaccessible than Dark Souls is in terms of lore. Because now granted, it's been a long time since I did my playthrough of it, but like, even just going through one playthrough of Dark Souls and not like reading item descriptions or going super deep into it. I still feel like I walked away like, oh, I think I get like the base of what was going on here. Whereas Bloodborne, you know, I was just like, that was a lot of cool shit that happened, and at one point I was in a dream, and then something happened. It was cool. Like, I don't know. I just couldn't really even piece it together in any meaningful way, but I just, you know.
And it's hard to piece it in a meaningful way when like a good third of the chunk is copy and pasted dungeons.
Well,
so.
and knowing that it, like makes even more sense too, because like I felt like something was wrong and missing playing through Bloodborne. I'm like, this. I know all this is supposed to be really fucking obtuse, but I feel like I should have walked away with something more than I did. But
So I don't know if you guys remember. By the way, this is another flaw. Sorry, I can't. I love these games. There's another flaw where you guys remember Queen Yarnum? She was the woman right before you go against Murgo's wet nurse at the top of the elevator. So she's standing there crying, remember? And then you kill Murgo's wet nurse, you come back down, and then you run into her. And then she bows down and thanks you, right? Well, here's the thing. You have to fight her in the Chalice Dungeons, and there's a story reason why as to why you have to fight her. And you're actually expected to fight her before you go against Murgo's wet nurse. And by the way, Queen Yarnum makes Murgo's wet nurse look like Disneyland. Like, seriously. She's she's crazy difficult. And it's because she has a lot of AoE attacks where she, like, cuts her wrists and she bleeds everywhere. Now she's raining down blood and it's, like, slowly draining your health. Like, really cool stuff is going on in the Chalice Dungeons.
That's both emo and metal, and I love it.
Oh, yeah! Well, dude, there's this point where she's, like, handcuffed, too. Like, she starts fighting you with the handcuffs, and she has, like, the one knife. There's just this point where she's just like, fuck it. And she just breaks them. And she's still pregnant with child as you're fighting her, too. Yeah, she is with child.
Wow.
Also, just, you guys realize that in the beginning of the game, the way to end the hunt, like, it tells you how to end the hunt, and basically you have to kill a baby. That's how you end the hunt. It's heavily implied that after you kill Murgo's wet nurse, the contract was made for Murgo, and like they don't show the scene, but you kill a baby.
Well,
and that ends the night.
You know,
it's like, but you can't show that, right? You can't like it has to be
that would be in poor taste.
Yeah, but it has to like you have to figure out a way to imply that, which I guess that's pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah. It's like this. It's like the same thing where in Star Wars they called the young Jedi kids younglings instead of children, because when Anakin goes to the Jedi Temple, instead of Obi-Wan saying you slaughtered all the younglings, you can't look at a movie and say kill children. You killed children. You know what I mean? There were younglings, Anakin. So it's like it hits a lot softer.
Sure. Yeah. What if they did? What if they just showed that whole scene of him just slaughtering little kids? And it's like a video camera at the top corner. Oh. And you're just seeing this happening. Like at one point he picks up one of their decapitated heads. He's like, ah! Just like Anakin, Jesus.
Headphones on. Don't Stop Me Now's playing.
Oh. How You Like Me Now or something.
All right, so yeah, this has been a long one. We're getting close to like 2 hours here, but can we pretty much wrap a bow on this and say that? Want to go from the bottom to the top?
Yes, let's go from the bottom to the top.
So in our bottom little chunk there, we've got Dark Souls 2 and Sekiro. We could call those the worst of the best, maybe. Like, perhaps fine games in their own right, just don't really hit well for us.
I agree with you with Sekiro being last because I have zero experience in it, and I at least played Demon Souls 2, so I agree that Sekiro last, Demon Souls above, Demon Souls 2
Dark
above
Souls
Sekiro.
2?
Or Dark Souls. Jesus Christ.
So Dark Souls.
I was gonna say they made a Demon Souls 2.
I wish. So yeah, Sekiro, Demon Souls 2, or Dark Souls 2. Holy fuck, I'm still doing
Sekiro, Dark Souls 2. Well, okay, so this next one, I could go either way with this tier. you and Brian might have to fight it out because it's Demon Souls and Dark Souls 3 in the next tier. I like Dark Souls 3 more, but it's because I didn't play enough of Demon Souls. And Dark Souls 3 is like Brian's number 2, I think, right? Because you're Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, and
yeah, because my Dark Souls would be right here.
Listen, this isn't about me. This is not about me. This is about the bigger picture here.
Right.
So
I mean, just keep in mind, I played a little
Demon
bit
Souls,
of it, so that's why I don't have an opinion for it.
So Demon Souls is third last. I'll bend the knee on this one. Demon Souls can be third last just because. It's fine.
Bro, let it out. It's okay.
It's a fantastic game, and it's something that I would love to play more of. I wish it was easier to play that game without having somehow like I fucked up, right? Like I've only ever had even numbered PlayStations, but you cannot play Demon Souls on an even numbered PlayStation. Yeah. You need an odd one that isn't the PS1. And I know there's probably some like, well, if you sign up for Sony's blah subscription, you could play. Fuck that! I just want to own the game.
Yeah. And also, I'm just gonna do this on a matter of just human appreciation. First off, Brian's already conceding to the fact that Dark Souls 3 is gonna be number 3, even though it's his number 2. Yeah. So it should be hang above, 100%. I think. It is a much better made game too. Mechanically, like Dark Souls 3 is, in my opinion, objectively better than Demon Souls, just because it is much more mechanically like snappy, you know?
Yeah, that's what drew me to it, was just like how its mechanics were and the gameplay. And I will admit, it's pretty easy to truck your way through it, and get through, but I don't know, man, the ways that they handled the weapons, like even the armor, and I don't know, it was cool as shit. I loved seeing like the things that we loved from Dark Souls 1, and they were kind of like, all right, let's try to push a little bit more on it. What else can we kind of do with it? I don't know. I was into that kind of, I guess. Yeah. So
okay.
So Dark Souls 3, Demon Souls 4.
So Demon Souls, Dark Souls 3. All right.
Okay.
And then we got.
And then at number 2, Dark Souls 1.
Okay.
Fantastic game. And our number 1, our crowned king of the FromSoft Soulsborne series. As of now, we'll see what Elden Ring does to this list. But up at the top, we got Bloodborne, baby!
Bloodborne! So going from the top now, just in case people need a reminder, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Demon Souls, Sekiro... No, I'm sorry, Dark Souls 2, Sekiro.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so that's the official BOP ranking.
And if you're mad about Sekiro, just pretend that we decided not to include it because it's not enough of a Soulsborne game. So you can think of it that way. It gets last on the list because it barely got on this list, just by technicality.
Could you even upgrade dude's arm at least, or no?
Well, so you can upgrade shinobi tools. So you can upgrade your like sword and stuff as well, but again, it's through items that are dropped by bosses and mini bosses.
By bosses. Yep.
But there's also like that game also has like skill trees with like shinobi arts and other types of stuff. It gets it's not really convoluted. It's just that's another thing I don't like about it. It had its skill trees. I don't really like skill trees.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Give me the stats, man.
Yeah.
Give me the stats.
Yeah. Well, whatever. That is our list, and you can disagree with it, but remember, you're wrong. So,
Objectively.
We did this with science.
Any complaints, send them to Oktar.
And I'll read them. I won't respond, but I will read them.
I'll read them. I'll think you're wrong.
Any complaints, just put them right here in the shredder, and we'll get right to those. Looking forward to Elden Ring, which I'm going to be playing that shit this time tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
And if you're watching Sunday, it already happened.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I'll probably still be playing it on Sunday. Whatever you probably.
But yeah, hey, I guess that's we're gonna call it a wrap on this episode. A little longer, little treat for everybody here. So
this was fun.
Yeah.
I liked debating.
This was.
I guess.
We were very cordial with one another. I feel.
Yeah.
we were. That was a good use of that word. I like that.
If there, I'll say this too. If there's ever any other thing, be it a game series, movie series, whatever, that you guys would like us to attempt to rank, I'd be down to do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, be totally down.
So let us know.
Maybe a fun one. This would take a longer time, but like Marvel, doing all the Marvel movies.
Ooh, okay.
I know it's a lot of content.
We would really have to brush over some of those movies and just be like,
I know
we're not going to talk about Thor: Dark World. Just know it's somewhere at the bottom.
We're not going to talk
it's
about
down there. It's everyone's bottom. Anyways, but hey. Thank you so much if you've been listening to on all of our different platforms, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify. I don't know why I forgot that one, but I did. But yeah, thank you so much if you've been supporting. And hey, if you don't know, we actually do this live on Wednesdays. That's what we're doing now. Come hang out. You can be in the chat like people are chatting with us and we'll respond. It's kind of cool. It's like you're part of the show. But yeah, and if you're watching this at home on Sunday or you're on our YouTube, thank you. And hey, while you're here, why don't you go look at some other little things? You know, we got different little goodies. You know, we got like skits, we got Let's Plays, we got music. You know, there's another podcast, a secret podcast, if you can find it on this channel. It's hidden in there. It's in there. But yeah, no, thank you if you've been supporting. We love it. We love doing this. And hey, join us next week while Octor gives us the whole entire lore of Jingle Hole. The whole lore. He's going to break it down every little
says
bit.
Jericho.
That says Jericho.
I'll have you know. I don't know what word you said, but that was
Jingle Hole? What is
Hole?
that?
I like how you randomly picked a game and you chose a game you couldn't pronounce.
It was a blind grab. It just happened to be over there on that side of my arm. Anyways, yeah, he's going to let us know all about Jericho. He's going to tell us the whole lore, all details next week. Join it. And if you're not there, I'm coming in your house. I'll be there.
Did you? Yeah. You heard what I heard. Like, woo!
No, wait. I know what you guys are thinking. It's not what I was saying. I almost said something else.
I think I'm just gonna end this.
Anyways.
All right. Bye.
Hey, everyone. Bar is closed. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
What?